Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Sandman here, and today we are going to be breaking down some fighting game terminology. So if you're new to fighting games, hopefully this video will help you to better understand some important and commonly used terminology in fighting games. Now while a lot of these words or phrases are used in multiple if not every fighting game, a few of these towards the end will be specific to Tekken 8, but I'll be sure to let you know which phrases are universal and which are specific to Tekken. Alright, so first up we have Oki, which is short for Okizeme, and this means wake up offense. Now this refers to a player attacking you or you attacking an opponent as they get up off of the ground. And this is for the most part universal to just about every fighting game as far as I'm concerned. Now what this looks like is I'm going to do a Hell Sweep with Kazuya to knock Jin down, and as Jin gets back up I can do another Hell Sweep, knocking him back on the ground. Or I could do something like forward 4-3, Kazuya's mid launcher if I think Jin's gonna block low, or I can do Kazuya's heat engager, his demon paw, his 4-4-2. And also if I think Jin's gonna stay on the ground, I can do 4-4-4, his steel pedal, which hits opponents if they stay on the ground. Now every character in the game has Oki technically, but some characters like Kazuya or King have better Oki than other characters. And like I said, this is universal to most, if not every fighting game as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so next up we have Punish. Now what this is a counterattack that hits an opponent while they are recovering from a move, or basically just guaranteed damage that you can get on your opponent. Alright, so I'm going to have Kazuya do his down 4-2, which is unsafe on block, on Jin, and as Jin blocks it, he's going to jab me back as fast as he can, right? Now as you see, I'm going to hold back as soon as I finish doing down 4-2, but as you see, I'm still getting hit by Jin's jab no matter what, because it's a punish. Kazuya did an unsafe move on Jin on block, and Jin is able to punish and get his guaranteed damage from it. Now this is pretty much universal to all fighting games, punishment, and in Tekken, it's a very key part of the gameplay, right? It's one of the fundamentals of Tekken. If your opponent does a move that's unsafe, you want to be able to know that it's unsafe, so you'll be able to punish it, right? Alright, next up we have a whiff. Now what this is an attack that doesn't hit your opponent and also isn't blocked. Now what this is going to look like is I'm going to have Kazuya do Demon Paw, just in neutral. As you can see, it's not hitting Jin, and Jin's also not blocking the move. That means the move is whiffing, right? Now this is not a good thing to do, and this is universal to all fighting games, because you can just press buttons into the air in between you and your opponent, and you're just whiffing attacks, right? Now this is really bad also, because I'm going to have Jin on knockdown do his spring attack, his get up kick, his kip up, and as you can see, it doesn't hit me, and I'm not blocking it, so it's whiffing. Now, if your opponent knows you're going to whiff a move, or they can see you just whiffing moves out in neutral, and they have good timing and reads, they can launch punish you for it, like this. See, that was a punish, as you can see below on Kazuya's frame data. So yeah, you don't want to be whiffing moves out of neutral whatsoever. If you're throwing an attack out, you want to make sure it's either hitting your opponent or your opponent is blocking it at least. Alright, next up is frame data. Now what this is a universal concept that measures the properties of a move, such as its speed, how long it takes to execute, and which character can act first if a move is blocked. So as you can see underneath both Kazuya and Jin, the small rectangle at the bottom that shows attack frame startup and frame advances will show you your frame data in training mode. Now what this is I'm going to have Jin just block my jab. And as you can see, the attack frame startup, which is how fast the move comes out, is 10 frames. That's the fastest a move any character can do in Tekken. And as you see below, you have frame advantage, and this shows you basically who can act first after a move is blocked. So as you see, if I do a jab, it says +1 under Kazuya and -1 under Jin. That means Kazuya is +1, which means basically if I do a jab and Jin blocks it, and then we both do another jab at the same time, mine will come out first and hit Jin, because I have the frame advantage, right? Alright, now still in the realm of frame data, we have the word plus. Now this means to be plus means to basically have the advantage in terms of frame data. So like I was saying with the jab, if I do a single jab and Jin blocks it, the frame advantage will show that I'm +1, which means I have the advantage. Now, some moves do have different advantages on block. As you can see, says Kazuya's forward 4 is +4 on block, which means I have 4 frames of advantage over Jin if he blocks that move. Alright, and going deeper into frame data, we have to be minus, which is to basically have your opponent have the advantage in terms of frame data. So you can see if I do Kazuya's down 4-2 on block, I am -12, which means Jin has the advantage after he blocks this move. And it's really important to know your character's frame data in terms of what's plus and minus, so you'll know the good moves to use. Like for Kazuya, like I said, forward 4 is a really good move to use because it's plus on block, which means you have the advantage afterwards. Alright, next up we have a few moves that are specific to Tekken 8, and the first one up is a Heat Burst. Now this is a way to activate your heat on hit or on block with a single attack. And this is done by pressing 2+3, or if you're on PlayStation, triangle and X at the same time, right? As you can see, Jin blocks it, but I still get to activate my heat and use all my heat tools. Now this is really good because it gives you a way to go into your heat without necessarily having to do a heat engager, which I will talk about next. But you do have to be careful because if your opponent knows you're going to do it, they're able to sidestep the move and launch punish you for it. But it's also really good because it has armor. So if your opponent is like doing an attack while you're activating your heat burst or pressuring you too much, you can toss this move out and you'll get the advantage back. As you can see, even on block, it is plus. Right, and these moves also are notorious for having really good range. As you can see, I'm a whole back step away from Jin, and if I do my heat burst, it still hits him, right? So these are really good moves to use sometimes. Alright, so next up we have Heat Engagers. Now this is a specific move that your character has that allows them to activate heat mode when this move hits your opponent. So for instance, Kazuya has 4-4-2, which is his heat engager. As you can see, it hit Jin and it starts my heat timer. Now every character has multiple moves that goes into heat. For you to find out what moves your character has that allows them to do this, so you can see what their heat engagers are, is go to the move list and practice. And main techniques here, it shows you all your character's heat engagers. And you can see every character has multiple. Now, unlike a heat burst that activates on hit or on block, as you can see, I'm gonna have Jin set to block my heat engager, and it won't activate my heat, right? So there's just a normal move at that point. So unlike heat burst, heat engagers actually have to hit your opponent to activate your heat. All right, next up we have a heat smash. Now this is a powerful attack. Basically that can be performed while you're in heat mode using the same input that you use to activate heat, so 2+3. Now take the word powerful with a grain of salt because if you're Kazuya or some other characters, your heat smash isn't really that good, right? However, King has a really good heat smash, so it's up to you whether you want to use your opponent's heat smash or not. If you're like a character with a weaker heat smash, I would recommend not using it and just sticking to your moves that are buffed while you're in heat, right? Instead of wasting it on a heat smash that's not that good anyway. Unless, of course, you think the heat smash will kill, then I'd say go for it. But other than that, if your character doesn't have a really good heat smash, then I would shy away from using it very often. Alright, now last in the heat category, we have a heat dash. Now I'm going to have Jin set to block. And basically what heat dash is a move that allows the player to stay close to their opponent by holding forward in heat mode after you do a heat engager on hit or on block. And what that looks like is this. So I activate heat with Kazuya, and if I do my Demon Paw forward 4-2, you see Jin blocks it, but if I hold forward while I do it, there I use the rest of my heat and I do a dash out of it that leaves me +5. Now that frame advantage is universal to every character in the game. Every character's heat dash is now +5, right? And that also works on hit as well. If I activate heat and do Demon Paw, Jin gets hit by it, I hold forward, Now I can, instead of having frame advantage, I can do a combo. Alright, next up we have chip damage. Now this is damage dealt to a character while they're blocking. So as you can see, I'm going to hit Jin with jabs and normal down forward ones, and his health bar remains the same. However, if I do a heat engager on him and he blocks it, you can see Jin starts to develop this sort of gray health underneath his normal health bar, right? That's chip damage. And basically chip damage is, as I said, damage dealt to a character while they're blocking. And this is recoverable health. If you have chip damage and you want to gain that health back, you have to either make your opponent block moves or hit your opponent. And as you can see there, some moves like Kazuya's Hell Sweep does chip damage even on hit, right? Which is still recoverable, meaning you can get it back. Alright, next up we have a homing move. Now this is a move that's purpose is to hit a sidestepping opponent in a 3D fighting game. Like I just said, this is pretty universal to mostly all 3D fighting games. And what that looks like is I have Jin set to sidestep after I jab him. So if I do like sidestep into down forward 1, you see Jin can easily sidestep my down forward 1 after blocking the jab. Now if I want to mitigate this and keep Jin in check from sidestepping after my jab, I will do one of Kazuya's homing moves like his down forward 2. See, Jin can't sidestep it. Or his back 4 heat engager, which is also homing. Now, you'll know your opponent's homing moves because all homing moves, like normal throws, have this light blue effect on them. So you can know they're homing, right? And yeah, that's homing. So last but not least, we have wave dash. And what this is a special type of movement that allows your character to move quickly across the screen as well as realign with your opponent if they're sidestepping. Now what that looks like is this. Alright. Get to move really fast across the screen, and as you can see, I have Jin set to sidestep. No matter what, my wave dash always realigns with him. Now this isn't necessarily universal to just Tekken. I believe you can also wave dash in games like Smash, but not every character in this game can do it. Kazuya can, Jin can, characters like King can, but and a few other characters, but not every character can do this. Alright guys, and that'll be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it has helped you understand some of the fighting game terminology. If there are any other terms you'd like me to go more in depth in, or any that I may have left out that you want to see in a future video, please let me know down in the comment section below. And feel free to leave a like and subscribe and turn on the post notifications if you enjoyed this video to help support the channel. But that'll be it for today's video, guys. See you next time. Later.